That's it. All right.
Telephone, but
Good deal. All right. So what's the pleasure of the council on this claims docket?
make a motion to recommend payment claims docket 9062018-18-03, total amount $5,170.29 to Fuel Man. Certification letter stating that the money is approved and pay the following claims.
All right, there's a motion by Councilman Seal to pay this docket. The second? Second by Councilman DeSalvo. Any discussion? There's no discussion, we'll vote the motion. Motion passes 4-0. Councilman Zimmerman, Councilman Smith, Councilman Hoffman is out. All right. Next item is we want to discuss the Bay St. Louis City budget.
Do we have a copy of the tax levies? I don't have a copy. Lisa, did we get a copy of the tax levies? You print them out? Ma'am? Unless I'm the,
Are you talking the resolution to fix the tax levies for the city of Bay St. Louis?
I got it, never mind. Hold the phone. It's up amongst the rest of the trees. Sorry about that.
All right, council. Any discussion? Whether we want to go with this, what we want to do?
Yeah, I have some questions. The I just want to go over the mill dedication. So we are giving the library 1.27 mills, correct, Lisa? I mean, Sissy? And so that reduced them 100,000.
Yes, that's what the council advised me to do.
So we're going to give the library 163.80 this year. 163,830 dollars. On the debt service fund, we increased that, I see, to one total mill.
Correct.
And what does that pay for? That's the building?
2010 Katrina refunding bond.
And how much is that a year?
It's .93 mils last year.
Yeah,
It's,
124.
Yeah, point.
hold on, let me find that. I did not have that prepared today, but I've got it right here. It's approximately $112,000.
What was it last year? Is it going up or down?
No, the bond payment remains pretty stable. It fluctuates between principal and interest, but the bond payment's about the same.
So it's, I'm sorry, you said 112?
Yeah, it's approximately 112.
So we have an extra 17,000 in that millage, and that,
Correct.
and the debt service.
I think the council requested a millage breakdown last week, and I prepared that for y'all.
So what are we gonna dedicate that extra 17,000 to, or it stays in that fund?
Whatever the council wishes.
Yeah. Just debt service. I mean, if we acquire another debt that we can pay, or we can move it out, or.
Yeah, but is this the same debt service fund that you pay all the debts from, Sissy?
Correct, but they cannot use a millage to pay those debts. Those debts have to come as a transfer in.
So we didn't have any we didn't have any from last year from this?
Anyway,
Any leftover millage that pay that Katrina?
no, there was about $400 extra, but it's still in the fund.
Okay. And what is the 24.48 mils? What are we dedicating that to pay?
That's your general fund millage.
So is that paying for the grass cutting? The 328 for the grass cutting?
Correct. Mhm.
Okay. So why don't we dedicate the proper millage for that to be paid, so that it's dedicated to that? That way that money's
For
guaranteed.
grass cutting?
It's a general obligation. We pay out every bill. It's no
I
different
don't
than
think
any
they
other bill.
allow, a grass cutting millage.
I understand, but I'm trying to get, go in a different direction to where I wanna make sure that certain funds are gonna be there. And I'm trying to break down the millage so that I know exactly what everything's being paid. So,
Everything being paid is what's in your budget. Everything being paid is in your budget, and that's the proposal for everything. I mean, we can't break down every line item in this budget.
yeah, but this is
Dedicated
a
millage.
this is gonna be a major debt service for us.
I understand, but, it's like attorney fees or anything else,
No, I'm not talking attorney fees, I'm talking,
but I mean,
I'm talking about just this fund, to dedicate, cause it's, to me, when I look at the budget, I see a lot of open line items and everything, and then once it gets approved, money gets moved around. I just wanna make sure that money's dedicated there, and that it, what if something happens? And we have some kind of emergency or something.
And we
So,
quit cutting grass and we spend it. I mean, the administration cannot spend $1 without us approving it. And I don't know why, if we want a line item each item.
because it's
but-
debt service, Doug.
No, that serves we're talking general mills, general fund. You're talking about general fund, 24.48 mils. Grass cutting is coming out of general fund, $328,000 general fund. It's a general fund, it's not a debt. The only thing we changed in the debt, we got $17,000 more dollars going into the debt service fund out of a $9 million budget. So where are we trying to
What I'm
nickel and
just
dime
trying-
each item?
I'm not trying to nickel and dime it.
No,
I mean,
I
we're
don't
fixing
understand
to,
where
we're
we're
fixing,
going, yeah.
we're fixing to raise the millage.
Yeah, we are.
And I'm
We're gonna
trying to
raise the mills,
justify it in my mind.
3.46 mils over 4 years, total.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure what's being
Well, we
paid
just,
for.
yeah. We raised millage 3.46 total mills over 4 years. Total mills that the citizens of Bay St. Louis paid, 3.46 over 4 years. Total mills. Total
That's
mills
total.
citizens pay for the city of Bay St. Louis.
So what he's explaining
a
is that,
citizen is paying that much more
Right, total.
now than they were from 2 years ago.
Yeah, not just the city of Bay St. Louis, total millage to the school, the county, total mills.
and this is something that I kind of just want to bring out, and how much is the insurance increase going to cost us? Because my calculation has $124,000.
It's almost 1 mil just for employees, another $76,000 for PERS out of the 2 mills that we're looking at.
And my point is that I feel that, when I broke it down by 26 pay periods, that's $23 per pay period. And I feel that some of these costs should be passed on to the employee, to help offset some of this millage, where we wouldn't have to raise an extra mill. And that's the discussion that I wanted to bring out to some of the councilmen here, because it seems like, what are we gonna do next year? It's gonna go up again, and then we're gonna have to pay more and more and more. And we're passing all these costs on to the citizens. We're passing on raises. Not everybody's getting a raise, but there's some pay raises in here. And, to me, all we're raising the millage is to fund that employee benefits.
That's not true at all.
That's how, okay, well, then tell me the millage breakdown.
We got less payroll now than what we had last year. If you compare what was there last year to this year, we're at payroll that's less with full benefits in that. And that comes
Sorry.
from the administration cuts and everything else that was done throughout the year.
Okay.
And positions, cancellation. You wanna hear?
I'm sorry?
I'm asking, do you wanna hear? But that's part of the administration cuts is paying for these extra positions, raises, and insurance and everything else. Now, we can say the millage is paying for it. We can say that the cuts from that is paying for bond or anything else, you know?
Well, currently, nothing in any increases is funding a bond. I just, you know, we didn't vote on anything to.
No, we don't have a bond out there to put any of it to, but it will be available if needed. I sent a letter out today, you know, showing what's covered on what, you know. As far as new expenses go, you know, we put 265,000 in the reserve. You wanna say that two mil increase or something, that's 2 mils right there going into reserve, anywhere from 70 to 65 to $100,000 for matching funds this year on bonds.
But if we passed on some insurance to some of the,
Understand,
to
but
the
you asked me
employees,
where we
that
going.
would be 1 mil there without
So-
touching the reserve fund.
But I'm just saying, we can cut other things if we need to cut it, that's what we choose to do, you know? But that's where 265,000 from, 328, that's a portion of that is coming from positions that was cut and moved, that's there right now, you know? 44,000 for Mississippi Power, contract with them to do the lights on 603 and
That's
90 to maintain. 20,000 we have in there for blighted property cleanup, you know, we wanted to do. 25,000 payroll, Paylocity outsourcing. I got 75,000, I'm not sure the actual, for health insurance increase. 15,000 for city property increase. There's 60,000 coming up next year for PERS property.
Well, I guess
in that
what
neighborhood.
some of my.
There's also $80,000 out there for, and that's conservative, anywhere from 80 to 100, $120,000 to replace light poles on 603, 90 and around town that's been knocked down. We've got insurance money we've collected in the last year that we getting ready to start spending on bases and all. You know, what was done with that money before, I had no idea. if
Well, the
anything.
poles that were taken down
So-
by MDOT, can't they be used on 603?
It's still a cost for weekend, and we have some poles out there, still for a base of about, and to put one up from Mississippi Power's estimate's about $3,500, you know.
So
That's
we
if-
received
that's
all our-
if we have a pole.
So we've received all our insurance proceeds from these poles, or some, I know some of them
I
are
don't know
probably.
what happened to insurance from the past. What we've received this year is that. You know. But, so we can say any portion of these increases and expenses that we've taken over, you know, is what that millage increase will pay.
Where I get the insurance increase on the employee side is when I just subtracted it from there, and, just wanted to bring it to a discussion. I think, MML was very clear and adamant when they were teaching us these classes that employees should have some ownership in the insurance part of it. I don't think it's unreasonable. I mean, you know, it's just it's just the way these times are.
I talked to Ms. Snow Block at a meeting, and my suggestion, I know we wanted to look at, is the deductible, $6,000. I would like for us to go out and say, okay, if I get a $3,500 deductible, the cost differential there, and then go into cost sharing with the employees, if they would be interested in doing that. You really got catastrophic insurance coverage, all you got right now.
That's all we have.
So if you got a deductible that was more in line with what you could afford, and it goes up $100 an employee per quarter or something, say, okay, employees, you'll pay your, $75, and we'll pay the quarter. And kind of help reduce that cost if we want to start cost sharing. I personally think it's late in the budget to say we want to start cutting employees' pay.
Well,
Some
it's not
employees
really
are
cutting
going to
them.
get some money. Yeah, we are paying more per employee because of PERS. We are paying more employee per insurance. But at the end of the day, employees are not going to get a nickel more in their paycheck every 2 weeks. They'll actually have a decrease in their paycheck.
Well, it's not only that, if you take that away, that covers most of the raise they got last year,
Right.
so it is taken away.
Yeah, and I know,
We wanna
it's,
look at something in the future, or, whether we do a lower deductible or something like that, then, and ask them if they want that, and we can maybe give them an option, keep the high or if they want the low, and see.
if you have a bad year, like we had a bad year. So
We got a
gotta-
very bad year.
Insurance is gonna say, I need to get my money back from, I paid more out in premiums than you paid I paid more out in claims than you did in premiums. So I gotta catch back up. Next year, we have a good year, stays flat. You never know what, looked at cost sharing with the county, right? When we were doing the sheriff's department thing, they were paying $10,600 per employee. I think back when we looked at that a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So it's, how do we pool, but, if we don't want to get in the pool and get worse, right? How do we cost share? So there's all kind of options we can look at, but it's not an easy situation to say,
It's not.
how you
It's
gonna do
not.
it?
You know, we had this discussion last year, and I said the same thing you're saying, that this actually be a pay cut to the employees to do it. I went back today and responded to an email. 477,000 was just the general fund salary, insurance, and 16-17 budget. 18-19 budget can be 648, so $171,000 increase in employee insurance in 2 budget cycles. And I said it too, maybe we need to absorb this one, but from here on out, set a cap that we willing to pay for their insurance and have cost share or something, because at the end of the day, the employee don't see it as a benefit because they don't see it in their paycheck neither. The citizen don't see any more man hours, any more production, anything else, they just see an increase in taxes to cover that, so it's really a no-win for nobody, and if you look at it, so, I think maybe throughout the year this year, maybe we need to work on looking at a system that we could offset it, and it might help. Maybe insurance go down next year if we have a good, healthy year, we don't know, but insurance will usually go down.
Now, these are just projected numbers for the insurance. It could actually be higher, correct, Sissy? This is just this is just,
Right, we have nothing actual for it, it's just a projection that AJ came up with, he does not know what the year's gonna be. I'm sorry. Got it?
Yeah, you know, his projection right now is 10 to 12%, but being it won't start till the first of the year, 10% he felt very safe with. The actual amount, we won't know till then. You know, if we end up with a good month or two, it could bring that down a little bit. Bad months could raise it up. But right now, we're, I think last month was 106%, you know, of what they like. So.
Mr. Mayor, would you do this, just reiterate this here for us? If we approve the tax, increase, what would that cost be to the citizens?
The cost to the citizens on $200,000 home, 2 mills is roughly $22 for every $200,000 value of a home.
So $22
Probably on
a
an
year?
automobile, $30,000 automobile is probably worth about $15
A year or a month?
a year.
A year, it's $22
You know,
a year.
you said three point something, even at 4 mil increase over 2 year on $200,000 home, you're looking at about an $80 increase. $84 maybe, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's roughly a little over $10 per $100,000 value on a home.
Okay, so again, to be clear, it's on a $200,000 home, it's about a $22 a year increase.
About 44 on a $200,000 home.
40.
40 to 44 in that neighborhood.
On a-
$100,000 home's about 20 to 22.
Okay, on a $300,000 home, talking about what, 60?
60,
60,
64,
62,
somewhere,
somewhere.
66.
I guess, with,
That's based on the homestead at home, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Non-homestead would be,
You know,
50% higher,
and that, like I said, on $30,000 vehicle, I think it's somewhere
Yeah, their rate is 30%, I think, on a
Yeah,
vehicle.
15
to 30%.
$15, something like that, I think it is increased.
Yeah, I didn't bring that, I had a little spreadsheet or anything.
I guess when I was looking at this, the way I look at it, I see that the millage, the value of the mill is at 129, so it's gone up $5,000 per mill. And so that's gonna be a bigger tax bill to everybody else out here when they get their tax bill. Plus, we added an extra $100,000 from the library, when we defunded part of their mill. And then we're adding another 2 mills on top of that. So to me, it looks more like almost 3.58 mills going up that we increase in spending.
Without increasing spending?
That we are increasing spending.
Right.
In addition to what we've got. That's why I am sensitive to the fact that, you know, when the insurance is going up 124,000, you know, we're asking everybody, hey man, just chip in a little bit more. You know, everybody's chipping in a little bit more, but nobody else is raising taxes but us. All I've heard this tax season is put 2% on food and beverage. Go ahead and raise the casinos, taxes, this and that. You know, to me, it's just we just resonating with tax. And, And I just think it's too much too fast. I think we should proceed a little bit more conservative level. And, that's just my view on it.
Where's the $124,000 health insurance increase coming in?
Well, I took it
Yeah,
right from the payroll budget.
minus the today's rate, minus the projected rate, multiplied by your 119.
I think I was using the last sheet that you gave us. Oh, here it is. So,
10% of 641.
so I just took it straight off the bottom of the
Insurance.
page.
Insurance is 641,000 a year, take 10% of that.
641. 64,000.
Well, I was looking at the bottom of the page, it says 755,000. 525. And then I subtracted that from last year's, which was 631, 348, equals 124,177.
So, Mr. Noblock, you subtracted what, the
Yeah, let me show you, yeah.
525 from the 631. You subtracted this one from this one here,
Yeah, I didn't know my other spreadsheet.
Yes, that one.
and this one. Okay.
All the other funds, yeah, I was just thinking of general fund, probably.
That's
Yeah.
including harbor fund and utility.
Yeah, because I was just looking at general fund.
641.
The 171 I did was just general fund employees.
That was last year, general fund's 5-something insurance cost. So 10% of that, general fund insurance is 59,000. So figure overall somewhere at 70,000.
Yeah. True.
What about the utility department?
The whole thing is, the whole insurance deal, this is last year's now, I don't have this year's, right?
I just have
Last
it
year,
side by side.
insurance cost $641,000 for everybody. 10% of that, 64,000, whatever. See if I can find this year, Gary.
So it'd be $64,000 increase. So you're at your
Yeah, I'd have to evaluate the health insurance
705.
employee by employee, but I know at one point last year, we dropped in actual people who take insurance. So I'm not sure if that's the whole reason why it's perceived to be a greater. Because some people don't take insurance, and if they don't, at some point mid-year, we took those people out. But you don't know,
Where was that money applied?
y'all probably did a budget reallocation, I think in March 2018. So any savings would have been reallocated at that moment.
But I don't remember being told that.
Well, there was the budget hearing here in the council office, and we went through it line by line.
Don't ask me if I remember, because I had supper last night.
We had to look at the vote.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know what the vote is, but I don't remember specifically saying we saved $12,000 in insurance premiums and we need to reallocate it somewhere, and wasn't told where it was reallocated to.
Okay, and that's probably the budget amendment process where we remove something from one line.
Yeah,
and
but
we
if we're
stick it
not
in
told
another
what it
line.
is and asked to vote on something,
Well, y'all get reports, and they're very detailed reports. So if you're maintaining that I did not tell you something, then that's incorrect.
Yeah, the budget.
well, no, that's how I take it. If we're not
Okay,
getting a
Mr.
budget.
Gary, I take it that
We
I give
have-
y'all
Well,
reports, we
sissy,
go
I'm
through
just
them
trying to
line by
question you, and
line,
you're taking offense to
and
it.
if you do not understand it, that's not my problem.
It is your problem, because you're in
No, it
control.
isn't.
Hello?
Okay.
So any budget amendments council is required to do, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if what we did in March, I have no clue.
See, that's the problem, if we have no clue what we're doing.
Well, wait a minute. I said we have no clue. It's on the minutes, right? But how many meetings do we have? How many budget amendments have we had last year?
I don't remember,
You don't know?
but what I
Well, you
don't-
asked me if I don't remember.
We had a couple of them, and it's going through line item for line item when we re-adopt and everything. You know, we've sat here and gone over every line item in the budget. And it shows the increase or the decrease, and that money just moves around, stays in the general fund on this side, if it's in there, and that's what's used to pay bills, you know? And if we saved here and we had added expense here, it's a wash. And it shows that clearly in the adopted budgets that was given and, you know, workshopped and voted on.
I apologize if I was slow.
Well, you know,
There is a lot of confusion
the
about-
administration cannot spend a dime of money. We approve every docket. Every penny that's spent, we approve. If there's a transfer, we see it on the transfer sheet of the docket, right? We got transfers on here. We get a monthly expense and revenue report, monthly, about how we're doing, where we're spending money. Every month we get that.
Every month.
We gotta read it. These dockets, we approve it. I know you read yours, but
I do.
we get this information every month. And it behooves us to make sure we know, and you do question, hey, why is this transfer, right? Because you do, and we do. So we approve them, or we
Very-
say, no, we don't do that.
It's been very good about that
But we do
question
that.
and everything.
So
But that-
we
That
do-
revenue and expense report
Yeah.
every month shows where you at in the budget on every line item in here. You know, is it 100% accurate? No, but it's very close, because whether something comes in later that needs to be paid and attached to that month, but it's pretty darn close to what's in there, you know? And it shows the percentage of the year we're in, the percentage of the budget we use, line item for line item shows the percentage of where you at. You know, and every month that is sent out to everyone, you know, so.
Can we find out what other municipalities in our area are doing for insurance, cost sharing, what they
can.
pay? Right here, because I was saying 10,000, county is actually paying $11,747 per employee.
They only pay 80% of X to them.
Is that 80%? That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Well, the county pays 80% of the premium, the employee pays 20%.
Okay,
I don't
that's what I was
believe
wondering,
there.
how is it, you know, how
I
are
think
we?
their deductible's pretty high too.
Yeah, yeah, it's, you know, how are we aligned with other
Yeah,
municipalities?
we,
And-
we can look at that.
Yeah, and I
see
think we
and-
did
and
something,
come back.
to me, I think it's too late right now in the budget, we can change it. But I think we do, let's look at it, make sure we in line or out of
That's
line,
one
right?
of the things you wanna look at, you know, a lot of, in the private world and all, it's going self-funded. You know, is that something we wanna look at? And I think it's proven, you know, well,
There's too much unsecured
you'd have to do a
liability.
joint venture maybe with the entire county. That's something that could be brought, you know, talk with them and see,
Yeah.
if that's a possibility. You know, I know DAC out there at the port, they've done it, supposedly they saved a lot of money, you know, but, and it keeps your insurance costs down also, because you're seeing somebody there.
Well, if you have
instead
somebody
of-
there.
And you're not getting the claims against the insurance and all. So it's, you know, that's something maybe the entities in the county can get together and say, you know, let's look at, let's talk about it. I don't know, but I agree, you know, everybody's insurance is going up. We'll look and see what the other area does, you know, the cities and counties do.
Let's look at them,
And we
you know,
can bring that back. to
adjoining
play.
cities past Long Beach and cities our size, Waverly
Yeah.
County, let's just see what they're doing and,
We can.
see if we're in line. I mean, we're pretty much in line with pay on a lot of things,
We are.
you know, so let's look and see if we're in line with our benefits as well.
I think we've done good for, you know, a few of the departments in the past 5 years, you know, bringing them up, you know, with rank and file and raises and all, we're holding our employees and everything.
Mr. Mayor, you had mentioned something about around in January, about a bond,
Yes, sir.
a government bond, about 5.8 million, somewhere in there. How do we propose to maybe get matching funds for that?
That would be part of the matching funds of that would probably be about 1.4. We would probably take out a bond for that and use that. It's a road and drainage bond. It's, I think Jason has put it together very well, a package that includes pretty much the entire city's drainage. and the need for paving and all, and I think it would be a very good bond. We're working, senators and representatives in Washington to try to get some help on it passed. We'll know sometime in December
So,
whether or not we are.
so you're saying we take out a bond
We could take
to,
our bond.
to pay the matching funds? Is that what you're saying?
We could, we could use part of the road and bridge, again, we laid that out, where do we get it, whether it's a police station, whatever. We laid it out, for the road and bridge, there's 272 coming from the county. That hopefully maybe goes up, more people here buying tags and everything. There's an option there to use part of that money for a bond. The option right now, we got 265 going into the reserve. Take away the 65 to 100, it still leaves 165,000, but it's there next year, the full 265,000 is there to go toward the bond, or part of that toward the bond, or part of it, that along with the road and bridge funds from the county. That gives you gives you over $5,000 right there to draw for a bond payment, just those two items. So the money is there if and when we decide to go after something, And this is the good thing about this. We could do that and come back out and make it a 10-year note and we through instead of, a 20.
Okay.
That would be
Yeah,
the
I would
thing.
just,
And we're also having some works, BP funds, we know that got released. We missed out on the first round of funds that was given for infrastructure and everything still. Yesterday, I do understand the reason how we got left out.
I don't.
Me
I
either.
don't, I didn't say I agree with it,
Right.
but I don't think it's right. So there's some money coming back out. Hopefully we can get into that pot of money before they start distributing, those funds. There's a couple of different pots out there for the infrastructure, for also the Restore Act. A lot of our projects fall under Restore Act for those funds available. So there's some opportunities coming. We got some money coming for the infrastructure bill they passed with the casino, not casino,
Well, maybe they
but
can
the
make up,
lottery money and
for
the
leaving us
sales
out
tax.
this time.
Yeah.
Maybe they can make up, and, I know we probably have some monies coming in, road and bridge, money's gonna increase with the lottery. And I'm pretty sure we're getting money from that, and I know we're gonna, this internet tax, I know,
We're gonna get a
probably get
portion
some
of
money
that,
from that.
That's right.
So I just, with the with the, 2 mil increase, I just want to make sure that, in raising taxes, we don't have to go down the road and raise taxes again to get the money from the citizens. I called Karen Rule today, and I was just gonna throw this out tonight, about a referendum, with putting it on the ballot to vote, not raising taxes this time and putting it on there with the county supervisor's election, and let the citizens decide. Do we want to do drainage, road problem throughout the whole city? And I know with something like that, some citizens, you just look in Ward 3. Some citizens in Ward 3, I said could be 60-40, 50-50. The areas that need the drainage, they're gonna mark, yes, we wanna do the bond project, but then you're gonna have some that they don't get flooded. They don't see the necessity of a
right.
drainage, so they're gonna no, I don't want my taxes to go up. So it's a, give and take, and then you put it on that, to be voted on. How many citizens in Bay St. Louis will vote yes, for that? And I mean, if I didn't need drainage in front of my house on my street, I'm not gonna vote, well, raise my taxes, for what? My water's running fine.
And you're exactly right, and that would even extend into the road part of it, the paving. Everybody here lives on a paved road, whether it's good or bad or not. People in Ward 6 are on dirt roads, so why am I gonna vote for
Right.
a bond that's gonna fund roads, Ward 6, roads? I think that's what we're here for. I think that's what we're elected for, to make those decisions.
I agree
Oh,
with you.
exactly.
But I don't think we can sit there and ask them to vote on something like that, that it really does affect everybody. You know,
Yeah.
even the drainage, even though you don't flood, it affects you when it comes to your ratings and everything. And the greater chances we have to increase that, that's a help on everyone with insurance. The cost of insurance to keep it down on the flood and everything.
Well, I like the referendum idea because, just my conversations with Jason, the problems are a whole lot bigger than 4 or 5 million. It's gonna be more like 8 to 10 million to fix,
Well, I think that's the number that was thrown out there. His number's about 3.5, 3.8 right now.
not the conversation that I had.
Well, I had one too.
Well, he can
Well,
come and explain.
I think,
Yeah.
Neil Schaefer did a analysis
Yeah.
for us a few years ago, and I don't see no problem with, if we're gonna do a bond sometime in the future, is bringing Neil Schaefer back in and let them dust it off and.
Well, I
you know,
think
just-
that's what he's using that, but he's just putting cost in with it, street by street, area by area. I think he sent it out to everybody last meeting.
Yeah, I have it
Yeah.
right
Which
here.
we didn't have the meeting, so.
Right,
Right.
yeah,
But,
I got it, and, I think Jason do a great job, in this here, but, Neil Schaefer did it, and,
Yeah, that was a good report.
if they
Yeah.
come back, dust that report off, and, just refresh us on it, 'cause, this is something, I really, they do this basically every day. And I'm not saying Jason don't do it every day, but, I would, that's something I would like to see, but I'm one vote, one voice on the council. I would like to see them dust that report off and, just give us an update on it.
My problem with the referendum is, I have tons of houses in my ward that wouldn't even have a vote to fix Ward 6, that pay twice the taxes just about as people that live here full-time that have a vote, because they don't get homestead exemption for all them camps and weekend homes out there. So, I think that would be a big disadvantage to Ward 6 and all the weekend homes around here, to put it to a referendum. We're going right back where we went last time. I'm pushing for roads, we're pushing for drainage. I think we need to find a happy medium, because roads do need to be fixed also. I brought the bond up a year ago now, and it went straight to wanting to do 100% drainage and leave the roads out in Ward 6, I felt at that time, and I fear we're going down that same avenue again to try not to fix. We got a road report that shows we got 23 miles of dirt roads in Ward 6 and 24.5 in the whole city. So that area is definitely left behind. And when it was annexed, it was promised to have the same quality of life as everybody else in the city, and the dirt road doesn't compare with any other road in the city, in any other ward, in my opinion. So I want to make sure we don't forget about the roads and go straight and spend all the money on just drainage.
Oh, no, yeah, whatever you do roads, you got to tack into the drainage, so when that water goes up in 6, it has to be able to go out unimpeded. And, I think that's what Jeffrey's point is about the Neil Schaefer report, because they did extensive, drainage studies, retention ponds, widening of some canals and things like that, so that water could be contained in heavy rains and things like that. So if you're gonna put asphalt out there, the key is keep as dry as you can, as often as you can.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's a good move that we turned, things over to the building department, get them involved, that whoever build now, they put a French drain in front of their house to drain that water off to the canals. I think that's, a very good move, on behalf of the city, because every little bit helps. Every little bit.
And one of the things we're looking at is, the state turned, I guess, their property over to the city for sale and all that. We wanna look and see what's available to turn into natural and leave it natural, and for detention areas throughout the city. And, All Central's a good location to mention, because you have everything to the right that's not developed. There's very few houses on all those streets in there. And you take some of those blocks where people are not building right now, and you just leave that. And if it's city owned and all, we could, or state owned, either way, we could go in and, designate those areas for the, retention ponds and everything. So Jason's looking at that also to try to help. That's a big plus with, with our rating and everything. stated, to have those in place and everything, so.
My key is why I like the referendum is because I would wanna go to the citizens of Bay St. Louis one time to fund this and not pick and choose smaller projects that could turn into be bigger projects. One of my concerns is that if we ever get hit with another hurricane, with some of the crumbling infrastructure we have in drainage, that the FEMA would only pay what it is before the storm. If we start doing some improvements now, or start working on that, and when they do come about, we do get hit, we could get hit 5 years from now, we've made some substantial drainage improvements, they're gonna repair them as they were at that time and not as it was before.
Yeah,
So
I think
that-
Jason touched on that too, you know, about getting something in place, getting something started for that same
So
reason.
I have faith in people in Bay St. Louis that if we had to throw this to the referendum, they'd see the importance of it. We're gonna have if you do drainage improvements, you're gonna have to tear some roads up. You're gonna have to build road improvements in with that. And, you know, with the current amount of land mass that we have, I don't know if the city can handle some of these projects that Jason would have in them.
No, not in-house, not all of
No.
them, no. Yeah.
We're not
Not
gonna do
in
current
any-
maintenance.
Not in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah.
But anyway, that needs to be talked about in upcoming workshops. It's just,
Yeah, it's a good idea. Let's talk dollars and cents.
Yes.
Dollars and cents. 2010, casino revenue, $2.5 million. 2018, anybody want to guess where it's at? Up, down, sideways? $700,000 less than it was in 2010. $700,000 less. That's 5.46 mils. So you raise your millage full 3.46 mils over the last 4 years. So I'm still down $258,000 from where I was in 2010 just on casino revenue. So where are we at? We're operating with less revenue, changing the way we're spending money. Sales tax is up. No, didn't run the figure on that yet, but it's not up $700,000. You know, so I think it's, I'm raising my taxes too. I live here,
Yeah.
same taxes. But if I look at dollars and cents, we're operating the city with less money than we were in 2010. 8 years later. It's
Nothing
reality.
else.
You can argue, well, you did it. Well, reality is doing it with less, right? You can argue, why are you raising my taxes? Well, I'm trying to get back even, right? I need to go up another 2 mils just to be even where I was in 2010. Now I'm not even taking inflation into account. You know, so it's a balance. It's not easy to sit here, I'm gonna raise taxes. I only want to go 1 mil this year. But I think we're out that hole. We got our head just above the water right now. And if we can get grants, when you get a grant, it's an 80-20, right? Where you gonna get the 20 from? You gotta have the 20% match, 258,000. We're gonna put a sidewalk on Bar Drive. How much do you think a sidewalk costs, right? It'll cost us, we're hoping the county, the school will partner with us. It's not gonna cost us $70,000 to put a sidewalk for school children on Bayou Drive. That's our cost. The other cost is coming from the state for safe routes for school. That's just one sidewalk for children's safety, right? I got a cost for Highland and Esplanade to redo the culverts from the damage, and some culverts by the school for drainage. That's $400,000 just to do those 2 streets in Pine Drive around by the school for drainage. Those 2 streets, $400,000. So where are you gonna get that money from? You gotta have money, and I'm not about spending money crazily, I'm very frugal, but you gotta have that millage, you gotta have that reserve money to be able to match what you're getting. And if you can't, the county wants to partner with us, but we gotta pony up money to go with it. If we don't have that money, we'd say, well, maybe go see Waveland, they got $1 million in reserve, let them have the money, right? That's a balance. Right or wrong, dollars and figures, dollars and cents, come talk to you all day long about it. Explain to you where we're at, where we're going, and where we've been. It's dollars and cents.
and I piggyback off of that, you know, we just did the sidewalk project on Old Spanish Trail, I think a $1 million project. Well, we had to match that. We had a 20% match on that. And if we didn't have the money to match it, we would have to do just like, because we had the lighting project also. And I don't think the money was there to match it. So we couldn't do the lighting project that go along the sidewalks. So I'm very, you know, frugal with money, try to manage it, you know, as tight as I can and as best as I can. But when I see a need that's going to be a benefit, you know, to the citizens, you know, of Bay St. Louis, you know, we have to do what we have to do. And, you know, I've received texts today, you know, after we talked, Mayor, wherein some of our citizens, you know, they're against raising taxes, you know. But then again, it's a gut feeling. I have to go with, you know, what's best overall, you know, because when I look at the citizens that text me and say, well, we're against taxes, against raising taxes, but then I look at some citizens, and I hope she don't mind me calling her out, you know, we have Goldie here. Okay, we have maybe have citizens that live in a place, they don't flood. You know, hard rain, it's not coming, it won't come, it's not a threat to come in their house. But then you put it to other citizens, you know, you get a hard rain, you get a flood. Well, we need ditches cleaned, we need something done with the drainage. All right, so there it is. It's you got one complaining, you have one that's all right. You know, so one will say, long as I get this water flowing and get it off my house, you know, raise the taxes. You know, I'm willing to pay my share. Where in another one, well, I'm not getting any, you know, in my house, so I don't care about my neighbor. You know, my house is high and dry. You know, so again, when we look at the overall picture, we want all the neighbors to have the water off their house. Okay, and if and it's like Councilman Seal said, I'm raising my taxes also. I'm raising my children's taxes. They have houses, you know, in the city. I'm raising my constituents' taxes. They have, you know, so, you know, I just, you know, that gut feeling, you just got to do what's best for, you know, the whole city. And so that's where I'm at with it.
Well, and I think you know, it's amazing, but as you talk to people about their taxes, they still don't understand tax structure or tax breakdown, right? I'm paying you $1,505 a year on a $200,000 house, is what most people tell me. I'm like, well, it's not really like this. You're paying the county 38% of that goes to the county, 37% goes to the school, and the city gets the 23%. You know, so when you break it down to, you pay me $575 a year total taxes to the city of Bay St. Louis, and it cost me last year, roughly cost me a little over $300,000 just for fire and police salary per hour. Okay, so 1 hour in fire police protection was over $300,000 last year, just personnel, just salary. Wasn't building fire trucks, nothing, just salary for fire and police. 1 hour was over $300,000. So you're paying for a little bit less than an hour and a half of service, public personnel service for fire and police protection for that $575,000. So if you break it down like that over a year time, you know, it's not a bad deal for trying to balance your taxes, but everybody just thinks, I'm giving you $1,500. What are you doing with my $1,500? Well, you're not giving me $1,500. You give me a third of that, you know, which is a balance. So if you break it down to really how it goes spread out across the county, the schools, and the city, this is what you're paying for. It's not the total sum that's coming to Bay St. Louis, because I would venture 80% of the people think every dime they pay in their home tax goes to the city of Bay St. Louis. You know, and that's That's why people don't raise my taxes. Well, if you gotta pay $300 an hour for police protection, you only pay for an hour and a half. You want that police protection, but you also want your roads, streets, and drainage done as well. And you want the city to look pretty on top of that. So, it is a balance, right?
And then, as Councilman Seal was saying, you know, we pay so much for county taxes. It's a good opportunity, you know, it should be a good opportunity the whole 4 years to get involved with your supervisor, because since we're paying the county so much taxes, what have your supervisor done in your area to, you know, help the projects, help with whatever we need help with? You know, do we see visibility, you know, of those supervisors, of that supervisor, you know, in our particular area? Because again, we pay a lot of taxes to the county. All right, counsel?
I agree with what y'all said. But I bet if you went to the county and the school next with their balance was in their reserve account, I bet it's not under $200,000. That's a
Sorry?
big problem. I'm sorry.
I can't hear you.
I don't think my mic's turned up or something. Can you hear me? Like I said, if you went to the county and the school that's getting the majority of the taxes, I bet they got more than $200,000 in reserve account. We don't. I mean, that's a big issue I don't like, is sitting here. Some of us run personal businesses. If I didn't have enough money in the bank to make next month's bills, I would be nervous. And that's where we sit as a city. And that's a big thing I have a problem with, is just running so tight and not wanting to raise. None of us want to raise taxes, but to be that tight in the budget and not have no reserve hardly built up, I think is not really being fiscally responsible. To be fiscally responsible, we've got to make sure we can ensure this city can run even with the hiccup. Casino burned down tomorrow and was out of business for 4 months. What we're going to do? You know, we got to be planning on things. We can't just sit here and say, I don't want to raise millage and not raise taxes, but sit here and be restricted with $180,000 in reserve account when every docket we get's $300,000 basically, just about every 2 weeks. I mean, so how long are we going to make the docket if we lose some of the revenue? That's my main thing. And then the grass cutting and the services we're going to provide, I think it's needed. And, you know, years past, county probably raised millage, schools probably raised millage, so taxes increased there. But the city sat back and didn't do it and got left behind. And that's why we're trying to catch up today, is what I feel. We just gotta get there. Like Doug said, we're down from 2010. There's nothing else 2010 prices that we can buy or pay for, whether it's employee insurance, salaries, fuel. I mean, fuel's up 50 cents a gallon in the last year. That affects the budget when you're running all the equipment we run as a city. So I don't think we miss spending the taxpayers' money. I think it's budgeted well. I think the administration's doing a good job with the oversight on it. I think it's just not enough of it to get all the jobs done that we want to do. So we gotta have it.
All right, any more discussion on the council? I'm not gonna let us make any motions until we get some public comments, but, just want to make sure council got it all out. All right, you all ready for public comments? Sure. All right, okay, I had them let you sign in tonight. I'm gonna be a little lenient with you. Instead of the 3 minutes, I'm not gonna let you go 10, 15, 20 minutes, but I'm gonna let you have a little bit more than 3 minutes, all right? So first one is Ron Thorpe.
Ron Thorpe. I put my name on there because I really wasn't going to say anything tonight, but I just wanted to listen to what you all had to say and then follow up on it, and I wrote down 6 quick things that I want to pass on. Number 1, is the city financially better off today than it was last year? And in my opinion, the answer is yes. You all have done a good job in the past year, and we have made great progress with our finances. Number 2, what I'm really glad to see is everything that we're working on is infrastructure and no glitz. Infrastructure is what is needed in this city, and I'm glad to see that you are focused in on that. Number 3, Bishop Reed, you had indicated you'd like to do a referendum, And my opinion on that one is, that's a wonderful democracy type thing to do, but we are not a democracy. We are a representative here, and that's what you are elected to do, is to be representatives of the people. And so you just need to take the courage and be representatives of the people. And if you want to have an increase in taxes, you need to do it. Number 4, I have great faith in this administration and in this council, and that if we do have a 2 mil tax increase, that you will give us the greatest bang for our buck. And we are at a point where you have many things that you want to do, and I believe this could give us the cushion to do that. Number 5, I really appreciate the honest debate that you all have had amongst the administration and the council, and that you bring out things and get it explained, and everybody is aware of it, and I just can't help but give you enough kudos for doing that. And number 6, just going back to the real number on it, on a $200,000 house, that would increase the taxes maybe $44. And I think that is not an unreasonable amount to increase the taxes. And I know, or I would think, that every member of the Bay Waveland Yacht Club that lives in Bay St. Louis, since they're not having to pay taxes through the yacht club, would be more than happy to pay an additional $44. They're in Ward 1, and I am a member of the yacht club, and I'm sure I'm going to get beat up the next time I go there. But I think it's morally wrong that they do not pay their fair share, and that they were very clever in what they did. And I'm hoping that there are some people in the city here and in the county that are not only clever but intelligent and are able to come about some way to make them pay their taxes. So having said that, I'd like to have this all wrapped up in about 15 to 18 minutes because dinner is waiting for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Excommunicated.
Yeah. All right, second with Rhonda Oliver.
Rhonda Oliver, Ward 5. I did also jot down a few things. I talked to the auditor's office today. Of course, I've talked to the Ethics Commission a couple of times. The workshop you had on August the 27th of 2018, you made a motion to advertise for 2 mil increase. You seconded it, and you took action to advertise the 2 mil increase for the paper on 8/29/18 and 9/5/18. That seems to be improper. You probably need to talk with your attorney and have her get Attorney General's opinion, or maybe an auditor's opinion, before you decide to raise this 2 mils. And I told you that night, that it was a workshop, and you should not take any action. You could have closed it. You could have come back with a special meeting, and even you, Jeffrey, made a comment that you'd never done that before. It's the first time it ever happened. As far as the $400,000 contract for cutting grass, you already have all your little toys to cut grass. You've bought enough equipment to cut the grass. All you need is 4 or 5 men on a daily basis. That's probably what, $125,000, $150,000 a year, and you'd save $250,000. They can cut grass all day long, and you're still saving $250,000. And you might be able to get your bond. I looked at the personnel budget, and y'all had talked about an across-the-board raise for employees. That did not happen. You're being selective. You're picking and choosing. okay? I don't think it's appropriate. I really don't. And Mr. Knobloch, I'm with you. I have a problem moving the money around. If that's what it's designated for, that's what it should be. Your rent is down on all of your rental property. All your permits are down. I've seen about at least 3 or 4 properties that were building stuff that didn't have building permits. $75,000 for demolition. I don't know why you need that, because the people who own the property are the ones who are going to be paying for the demolition. So that's just basically padding the budget as far as I'm concerned. So you can take it later and move it around, Mr. Knobloch. As far as the bond is concerned, we're already in debt for $4.6 million for a bond. And Mr. Favre called me a liar last time when I said that it was initially gonna be paid for by the citizens of Ward 5 and 6. Well, then it came back that it was gonna be paid with the Road and Bridge Fund. And then we raised 2 mills to pay for it. So I think we didn't get our money's worth, guys.
I'd like to say something. I never called you a liar,
You said that's a lie.
but
All
I do
right.
disagree that the people in Ward, it was never said that the people of Ward 5 and 6 would pay for that entire bond. I don't really care what's on 13.
All right,
13 had on there that there was a curfew the other night.
Sam Moore.
And the bond was basically.
All right, you
supposed to
finished,
be-
Ms. Oliver. Thank you.
It was supposed to be for
Thank you, Ms. Oliver.
evacuation,
Thank you, Ms. Oliver.
not paying the project.
Thank you very much. I'm Sam Moore. I've got a number of things, and I'm gonna probably talk out of sequence because I started making notes a while ago and I couldn't stop, but I'll try to make it as quickly as possible. I've heard insurance mentioned a number of times tonight, insurance, and all this kind of stuff, and I'm just curious about it. Is the insurance still through Rossetti that we're talking about?
This is health insurance through, was Garrett.
Say again?
What, health insurance still who's our rep? Gary?
Yeah.
Gary Yarborough? Red Cross.
Well,
yeah.
I was just wondering if the rest of the insurance that he has had kind of a monopoly on for the last few years, is he still, are we getting some competitive bids against, in that situation?
For health insurance?
Any insurance?
Yeah.
Any
that's-
insurance?
Yeah, that's what we discussed. As I said, we've been Blue Cross Blue Shield for a few years now. And actually, we probably haven't had an increase in a couple of years. And it is, and I don't know, what's the answer, right? We're third largest company in the world. We're gonna change insurance companies.
Which that's up.
January 1st. So it is, you do shop it, right? You do change and get packages. And it's something we need to look at.
Yeah, and we can probably find somebody to beat it this year, but come next year, they won't, if they even take us. And to get back in Blue Shield, there's no guarantee.
You
they
just
would
do it
get
on a
us in.
year-to-year basis, don't you?
Well, you keep yes, it's year to year. But
The-
then if you jump out and nobody will take you next year except the ones you got, you at their will. And Waveland jumped out, they got back in, county jumped out, took them, I think, 2 to 3 years to get back in with them.
So you're kind of scared to save money if you fear that they're gonna charge you more next
Well,
time?
No,
yeah,
not
county's
scared to
paying-
save money, we'll save money any way that we can. Scared to get out of something, can't get back in, and then you're at their mercy at their cost.
We're such a small pool, that's our problem.
Yeah.
It's one of our biggest issues.
Our record, I guess, with claims and all is not good, for one thing. And
I also called, a local agent and asked about the Blue Cross Blue Shield. And, it was kind of explained to me that, insurance is mandated by the federal government now. So I was told, yeah, you might get a good introductory rate, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna keep it that way. And, it might be more detrimental to leave the Blue Cross than to jump ship. Now, I don't have any problem with looking at pricing, but I'm just saying that we might.
Well, at least
open
that
up-
would try to, you could maybe keep them honest when you
Well,
look at competitive
there's always a
pricing.
possibility, you know.
Other thing I had here, I was curious, this is strictly a matter of curiosity. In your budget, the city attorney, is that amount for city attorney charges, is that in your budget? And if so, how much?
Legal expense.
Is it,
I think it was 140 or something.
somewhere around 140 is what's budgeted?
Is she being paid by the hour, or y'all have a contractual agreement with
No,
her?
we do not have a contract.
You do not have a contract?
As far as, if things would stay the same, her last month's bill, I think, was 13,000 or something like that, 6,500 a month, somewhere in that, you know? And if you could multiply that out, I don't know, 7,000 a month, 84,000 a year is what, you know, barring any other thing, so. But the extra is there, we do have, some court cases coming up, we start one Monday for one of the suits.
How does that compare with the predecessors? Like,
I think year before.
But we had a lot of legal actions.
I think we were around 180, 182, 160 the year before that. Current budget's 182, 160 before that. And then there was also a 36,000 retainer fee in that. So 188, 194 the year before that. So it's coming down.
okay, that's,
194, you know, projected this year, 182, next year we're hoping 141. So,
the bond situation, do y'all have, who is in charge of looking for, bonds out there as far as our administration is concerned, and grants, I should say, not, but grants?
grants,
I
a
know,
lot of these is being handled by Jason.
yeah,
Um,
but I know, prior, we had somebody on payroll who actually was, administering the grants and soliciting grants and things like that, and, of course, he retired, but you don't have anybody on our
not on
city
state.
payroll?
Small grants, they, you know, police department goes out to some, fire department goes out to some. But the large grants for infrastructure, anything like that, you know, Jason puts a proposal together, same thing with, Tidelands funds and everything. He also puts that type of projects together and, you know, sends in.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, I would just think that would be an important, facet as far as city government's concerned, because there's a lot of money I know floating around out there. If somebody would aggressively look at, what the possibilities are, that, maybe we could, turn around some of these things as far as increases are concerned that we're talking about, need money here, there, and the, and talking about bond, I guess is what would burn it to my mind.
Give you another minute, Mr. Moore.
Yes, sir, and but need just about that much. This $4 million bond that was passed before this administration took over, we primarily, we tried to get this bond money for improvements in Ward 6, particularly in Ward 6. And when it was all over with, we wound up just getting a portion of it, and basically, I'll speak for my area out there, there's not been anything done except basic services are concerned, in Garden Isle and in our area at all. Matter of fact, we'd have still been under the county, and the only thing we would have forfeited is one, garbage pickup a week, and that's all. Because they would have cut our grass, they might have cleaned our ditches, you know, I don't know. But the bottom line is, if we're gonna increase taxes, I want one of y'all to go to these people on these dirt roads over there, past me, and tell him why you're gonna increase any kind of taxes, because it just does not make sense. We have been out there, we've got, we're paying about a third of the taxes for the city, and have been since Katrina. We were guaranteed certain things in order for the annexation to take place. That didn't come to fruition. And so when we start talking about raising taxes, you got to remember those people need to be answered too.
Yes, sir.
And I took 35 seconds longer than I thought I would.
That's it, took 35 seconds long, right?
Would anybody like to forfeit their time for me?
I gave you about the same time. All right. All right. Now, this is what I want to do. Is there anybody else that would like to have public comment? Yes. Come and just state your name for the record.
James Mago. I live in Ward 6. I would like to know why I gotta evacuate 3 days before any type of storm, because our road was never raised up, and you want not give us any money to get the materials to get it raised up. Because I live in Riverview, and there's probably 200 houses since I've been moved in, and that was back in '08. And 175 don't live there permanent. I do. So you getting all that money, but you ain't doing nothing for us. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Any more public comments? Any more public comments? Public input? All right. Guess we'll go back to, any more council. What do you want to do with adopting the tax levy and with the budget?
Ready to make a motion to adopt the tax levy.
All right,
So
do I need to read?
one more caveat. Today's budget, we did fire and police protection is $3,061,475 for their salaries. It comes out to $349,000 an hour for fire and police protection salaries that we pay the city of Bay St. Louis. 8,760 hours a year. So the average homeowner for 100, according to Zillow, average home price in Bay St. Louis was $124,000. So average homeowner pays $340.75 to the city of Bay St. Louis total taxes to the city of Bay St. Louis. So it covers less than 1 hour of fire and police protection salaries only.
All right. Let me read this resolution. Resolution to fix the tax levies for the city of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Whereas it is necessary and proper at this time, as provided by section 21-33-45, Mississippi Code of 1972, annotated, and including all amendments thereto, for the City Council of the City of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, to fix the tax levies by which all taxes for the purpose hereinafter set forth for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018, and ending September 30th, 2019, are to be collected. Now therefore be it resolved that the tax levy of the City of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, and the Bay St. Louis Waveland School District of the City of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, by authority as shown below for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018, and ending September 30th, 2019, be the same and hereby fixed and levied on all taxable property in said city and school district as follows. The general fund, which includes a quarter of a meal for fire protection purposes pursuant to section 81-1-37 and 83-1-39 Mississippi Code of 1972, annotated in all amendments thereunto, 24.48 meals. Debt service fund, 1.00 meals. The 2016 GO Public Improvement Road Bond, 2 meals. The City County Public Library Fund, 1.27 meals. The subtotal for the municipal is 28.75 meals. School 3-meal note, 1.66 meals. The school district maintenance fund, according to section 37-57-105, Mississippi Code of 1972 annotated, and all amendments thereunto, 45.85 meals. Subtotal schools is 47.51 meals. The total tax levy fiscal year 2018-2019, 76.26 meals. Be it further resolved that the tax levy 76.26 meals has this day been set by the City Council of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, and further that the municipal clerk is hereby authorized and directed to collect taxes on all assessment roll as provided by aforesaid law.
Motion.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Councilman Seal, second by Councilman DeSalvo to accept this resolution. Any discussion? All right, let's vote the motion. Motion carries 3-1. Councilman DeSalvo, Councilman Reed, Councilman Seal for, Councilman Noblock against. Councilman Zimmerman, Smith, and Hoffman are out. All right. Mayor, is there anything else you need to do with this? Want to say? Okay. All right. The next item is council business requests or any information, anything council need to discuss further? Okay.
Sissy, I just want to apologize. Sometimes I didn't mean anything or insinuate anything. I just sometimes don't understand all the numbers, and I would appreciate it that when we do have some changes, just have a little patience with me, okay? Again, I apologize. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Knobloch. All right. If there's nothing else from the council, we're going to adjourn this meeting. Meeting adjourned. Do want to mention on Tuesday evening, September 11th, 5:30, we'll be here for city council meeting that was rescheduled from September the 4th. We canceled that meeting because of the storm. Look forward to you being there. Thank you.
School meals. 50.05. I always drink the water. I always drink the Kool-Aid.